You may have seen me at other meetings in this session of classes. I'm Van Miller. I work with Aaron. I work at an insurance company in Cincinnati. And what we have is we use Microsoft products at our uh, company, and we use a product called Microsoft Copilot. We have an enterprise solution for our GPT. So with some of the enterprise solutions like this one, you have extra features that you don't get on necessarily the free version that you use at home or wherever else. Some of the paid version or enterprise versions, you can do things like create agents, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Uh, so let me share my screen with you, and you should see my screen. Oop, maybe not. Hang on.
I was going to say, nope, not yet.
You don't yet. Here we go. Hang on just a second. I'm not as I'm not as good with Zoom as I am with Teams, so I don't use Zoom that much. Uh,
There
so
it is.
now you should see my screen.
Oh,
Oh,
where's the picture of who was it in the Matrix? Agent Smith?
Agent Smith or
Um,
something like that. Yeah. Let me see if I can
that's
jump
what
in.
I
There
was
we go.
expecting to see.
Yep. So specialized eight. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about agents today. So here's our agent. So to kind of set the stage, in previous sessions, we talked about um, context and how important it is to the GPT conversation. So, we're using the GPT, we're setting up all the context for the conversation we want to have with the GPT, and then we're getting our information out of it. Um, One of the things that agents can do for you is I want to share with you about agents that like Copilot and probably some other GPTs, you can use specialized agents. And what these agents do is they allow you to configure uh, the information that they can be configured with information that directs the behavior of the agent. So what this allows you to do is kind of save your context and eliminate the need of recreating the context every time you want to do a new GPT conversation. Um, Another thing you can do with agents is you can have the agent reference information from a specified website. So if you want your agent to be an expert in a certain website, maybe it's a work website or a public website, um, you can have it make that a priority in the questions that you answer. So if people ask questions, if you ask questions to your agent, it's going to go look at that website first or list of websites and get the answers there first before it goes out and pulls the information from the rest of the large language model that we talked about. Um, so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create agents in Copilot. Uh, this These provide assistance in, and what they'll do is they'll provide assistance in specific topics and activities. After I demonstrate and create the agents, um, we can discuss what we can do is we can discuss the agents, how they work, and how you might utilize them in your work. So before I get into the demo, does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Hey Van. Van, I
Yes.
actually do have a
Hey, Christy,
question.
shoot.
How are you? So you were talking about the fact that I thought you said you can configure the information that directs the behavior of the
Mm-hmm.
agent. Is that what you said?
You
And
can.
when you say the information, are you talking about like prompts that we would be writing?
It's really kind of context. So it is kind of in the prompts. So for
Okay.
example, maybe you have one of the agents I'm going to show you is uh, an expert agent on the IIBA website. So you could do all these things. You could make your own, have a conversation just in regular GPT, and say,
Mhm.
hey, I want you to bring in, I want you to give me information from the IIBA website. I want it to do this. I want it to be that. I want it to be polite. I want it to, I can specify how I want it to behave. You can do all that in a prompt, but
Mhm.
then, whenever you stop your conversation or you start a new conversation with GPT,
Mhm.
you got to key that
Gotta
stuff all
do
in
that all
again,
again.
right? So
Okay.
it doesn't really keep your context for you.
Okay.
With an agent, it keeps that context. So that's
Perfect.
the information that I'm talking about. It's really context based.
Okay.
That's a very good
Perfect.
question.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Any more questions about that? And it'll be, I'll kind of go over it too as we go through this. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So let me do this. I'll, what I'll do is I'm going to go into Copilot and um, I'll share my screen. So this is just regular Copilot that you would see. Maybe if your enterprise uses Copilot, it probably looks something like this. This is your standard Copilot. How can I help you? Um, and it would work like Chat GPT or whatever. You start off your conversation, you key in all of the stuff that you want to give it for context around the prompt, and this is where you can get into really heavy duty prompt engineering and all that stuff if you wanted to. So it's all about having a conversation with the GPT and what you want to try to get out of it. Now, what you can also do, what I want to show you is you can, instead of using this and keying in all that information, you can say, I might be like, hey, you know what? Often I go out to Copilot and I want it to help me fix my writing. Really, I just want, I'm not a great writer and I'd like it to, like when I do an email or something, hey, go over this thing and make it better, especially if I'm writing maybe some kind of a decision paper or paper that I'm going to show to an executive. Have it review what you wrote and give some suggestions. You don't have to take them, but it might give you a suggestion that you didn't think of. So you could do that every time, key that all in, say, hey, I'm writing a paper on this and that, and give me feedback on it, or you could create an agent. So what we'll do is let me show you how you can create a writing agent with Copilot. And I'm betting you can do this with other GPTs as well. This is just the one that I have access to, so it's the one that I'm going to use today. So what we can do is we can go in here, and if you see you have agents here, these are agents that I've created, and then you can see all your agents. You can create new agents. So what we'll do is we're going to create an agent that's going to be a writing expert. So we'll click Create Agent, and in some cases, there are templates. And like in this case, we're going to use a template to start with. And this one's really quick and easy. And that's kind of one of the reasons I want to show it. There's a couple of things you can do that are really quick and easy. They're all almost pre-built agents that can give you a start. And then all you need to do is tweak them. Or you can make your own agent all the way from scratch. It just depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to start with a template. Um, and we're going to build a writing agent. So we're going to look down and go writing coach. So let's pick that. We're going to build our own writing coach. So we pick it. And what it does is Copilot actually will go through and say, hey, what do you want to do with this thing? So it gives you a description of what the writing coach is. So you'll notice it says, hey, I'm here to help you build an agent. You can start by describing what you want it to do. And this part's pretty cool because it's kind of prompt driven. It helps you build the agent. It's not very technical at all. So uh, you're currently editing the writing code agent. What do you want to do? And it tells what it does. It's a declarative copilot that provides detailed feedback on your writing style, improves clarity, all these things. If you want to dig into it further, you can look at the documentation, um, and then you can describe any customizations you want to make. In my case, we're going to be like, hey, you know what? This all sounds pretty good. This is what I do. Reports, text, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and create the agent. So we'll go over here. Well, let me show you something else first. Before we create it, I'll say you can tweak this a little. Maybe you can. This might not let you tweak it since it's a pre-built one. So if you look in here, see how it has instructions. Um, and here are the different things that you would normally be putting into the prompt. Like if you were wanting to make this a regular chat session, do what this is going to do, you'd have to key all of this in. These are the different skills I want it to have. I want it to be coach me on existing text and all the things underneath that. Help me how to change the tone of an email message. Transcribe the piece into another language so we can use this as a transcription if we wanted to. Teach us how to write instructions. Help me write a story. All these things, it's going to apply to whatever you put in there. So we're going to say, yeah, that looks good. Another thing you could do if you want, and this we're not going to, but we could be, hey, if I had a certain website that I used a lot, like thesaurus.com or something like that, and I'm just making up a website there. I don't know if that's actually one or not. You could put it in here, and like I was talking about before, it's going to go to that first, and pull rules out of that about what you're doing before it pulls from the rest of the large language model. So we'll say, yeah, let's go ahead and create that. That looks pretty good. So we'll say create. And okay, it says my agent was successfully created. It's called Writing Coach. So here it is right there. That guy put it on my list. So I'm going to go to the agent and we're going to give it a try. So, it comes up and says writing coach. And what you can do here too, I'm not going to do it today, but if you want to, you can put pictures in here. You can modify this to put in, any kind of picture or something that you want on here. I'll just take the default ones for today, just uh, for time's sake. But I just know that you can put in little icons or whatever in here that you want. So what we'll do is see it comes up with some pre-written questions like critique my writing, change the tone of an email, transcribe a piece of text. If you'll notice, those kind of went along with the context that we talked about when we created it. So what I'll do is, in this case, I'll say, you know, what is I'll say, what are the pieces of white paper, something like that. What are the key elements of white paper? Now, what it should do, since it's a writing coach, it'll be like, I got that. I can help you with it. So, core structure of a white paper. And it's going to go down through and say, here's all the stuff. It should have a title page, it should have an executive summary, and so on and so forth. And these are all suggestions that it's going to make. Another thing you can do is you can just put in text here and go, hey, make this better. So you could have something like, I didn't really have a good example of text to stick in here to make better, but you guys have probably already done that before. Um, anyway, so you could put whatever in here and ask it about writing stuff. So let me stop for a second there and ask you all if you have questions, thoughts, anything about that. All right. Okay.
I have a
Now,
question for you, Van.
yeah, shoot, Denise.
So you're creating an agent. What's the difference between the agent and just doing the conversation and asking Copilot to correct your improve your writing?
Yeah, the difference would be, and I'll show you under here, is all of these instructions. Like, if you wanted to, if I were to take all these instructions and copy it into uh, the Copilot, the GPT, and go, hey, I want you to do this. I want you to be a writing coach, and here's how I want you to act. Um, you can just take your writing and just plop it into the GPT, and it's going to use the large language model to do its best to make your writing better. But this is more focused. Its focus is going to be on these things. So it gives it more context around what you're trying to do than if you just put it straight into the GPT. And a couple of these other examples too might help show that, especially when I get into um, having it pull from a specific source first
Okay.
before it pulls
Okay.
from a large language model. But that's what this does. I mean, the whole key of it is um, it is uh, you're giving it context, this context. And this is just a writing coach. Like you could have any kind of area that you can think of where, if you can think of something that could use an AI agent to help me do something, anywhere where you would think, I got to put some context behind that, you could create an agent to do it so that you don't have to do context every time. And I might also learn too, as you're using this thing, it might be like, hey, you know what? I want to change these instructions a little. You can do
Hmm.
that and reconfigure it. So as you go, you can tweak your coach or your in this case agent. We're calling it writing coach. We can tweak it to behave differently. So uh, these instructions are just going to help it do that. It's a good
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Any other
Oh,
questions?
man. You're saying you could create a coach that says you're a seasoned BA with 20 years experience working in an agile environment, and it retains that and will give its answers based on that knowledge.
Right, exactly. That's what it would do. It's exactly what it does. So yeah, and it's probably more, and one of the things like this writing coach, that's straight out of the box from Microsoft. Like this, they just give it to you. It's like you're like, hey, here's a template that you can use. This is, what we our staff or whatever came up with that might be good context for any writing coach. So here you go. Use it if you want. And then we can make custom ones too. Like you could make this writing coach be like have some kind of say, you know what, I wanted to concentrate on business analysis terms, or I wanted to concentrate on, automotive dealership terms or whatever, to know what business you're in. So you could give it instructions to get closer to your business if you wanted to.
And you also said that you can have your agent focus on a website, like you were mentioning the
You
IIBA
can
website earlier. So
absolutely.
basically, it'll format it, answer based on what's on the IIBA website first. And if it doesn't find anything there, then it will go out to the web
Yep,
to find answers. Okay.
that's exactly right. It gives that priority. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I'm a business systems analyst at the city of Portland in Oregon.
Hmm.
Um, we are, I work on a team of business systems analysts. We are trying to get ahead of the Power BI user demand. We've got a lot of analysts in the agency who are really excited about Power BI. We want to get some data governance in place. So I'm envisioning, and we're having a difficult time because we haven't ourselves have a lot of experience building out Power BI dashboards. And we're also just coming up to speed with some of our data governance work.
Hmm.
And so I'm I know Microsoft's got a great web page about data governance around Fabric and Power BI. We have a data governance strategy document, and there's a lot of good information from Microsoft about how to use Power BI. So I'm kind of envisioning building an agent that helps us write that data governance document.
You could
Um,
do that. Yeah, you could, after you get done here, give that a shot. Put those sources in there, put that context in there, and then play around with it. You might have to tweak it, fine tune it, but I think it would probably work.
yeah,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, it'd be worth a try. It'd be worth, you know, uh, some of this AI stuff. Sometimes it doesn't work perfect, but it gets you close.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
uh, you can. It's definitely worth giving a try. So I
yeah.
think that would
Oh,
be a feasible application of doing
uh,
this.
yeah. Always got to do the final edit after on the
Yeah,
content
you
afterwards.
can't totally trust it, but it is great for giving you ideas that you didn't think of or making things a little bit better that you
Absolutely.
didn't think of. It's really good for that. You still got to put your own finish work on it, but it might get you halfway there, three-quarters of the way there. which is way better than starting with a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, nice.
Any other
Hey,
questions?
yeah, so kind of following up from that. So if I create this agent, how do I share that agent with other people
That's a
in
good
my
question. Yes, you can do that.
Bonus
So,
points for Katie.
yep, that's a really good question. So, with the agent, let me see if I can share that on this one. I can share it, I believe. Share. See this share? In this case, I'm in the Microsoft environment, where we have an enterprise solution. So I can share this uh, agent. So say in Steve's example, we put a lot of work in that agent, for his Power BI and the governance and all that, and it's working good for him. He's like, hey, I want to share that with the rest of my team now. Now he can, once it's built, hit share and then key in the people that you want to share it with. So then you would say, who am I going to share it with? Specific users, whomever. Now, I can't tell you how Google or other places do it or don't allow that to happen. So I think it will only share with people within your enterprise. Uh, but that's a good question too. And you're actually getting ahead of me a little bit, but that's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, but that's what you would do once you got your agent built. You want to share it. You like it. You like the way it works. You can share it with other people just like that. So, and that's really powerful because like, okay, now that person didn't have to do that work. Like I can share this with Aaron and he'd be like, oh, I get all the benefit of that. And all I need to do is use it.
It's
So
efficiency across the board.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the sharing part of it is a big deal and it's very valuable. So thanks for asking that question. And I want to make sure people understand that. It's almost like writing a program, like it's a program that can be shared by multiple people or a spreadsheet or whatever. This is the same way. So that's, an example building a simple writing coach with the pre-built stuff that comes with Microsoft. Um, I want to show another one too. I'm not going to go ahead and build it because I want to make sure we have time to cover everything we want to do. But I just want to share the ones that I've used that have been valuable to me. So the writing coach is valuable. There's another one called a prompt coach that helps with your prompts. You know how we've been talking about, hey, prompts and context, all that stuff is what AI needs to work. So if you want to get better at prompting, and you just want to use the plain old, Copilot prompt, where this can help guide you. It's like a prompting coach. So that same place I showed you where to get the writing coach, you can get the prompting coach. So I would recommend if you have access to it to get that and use it. Just it'll help your prompting be better and you'll learn to do better prompting. Um, Another one I want to show you is Aaron was saying, hey, a minute ago about, hey, we can have our agent utilize a specific website to pull its information from. So for example of that, I'm gonna create an agent that uh, uses the IIBA website to pull business analysis information. And let me show you how to do that. Did you have a question, Aaron? Oh, never mind.
Nope, I'm all
You're
good.
good. Let me do that one. So do create agent. And this one we're going to do from scratch. So we're not going to use a template. We're going to say, we're going to build this from scratch. So it says, hey, I'm here to help you build an agent. You can start by telling me what you want the agent to do. And in this case, I'm going to say, I want this agent to be an expert on a business analysis website. We'll leave it at that for starters. So it's going to think about that for a minute. Okay, it says your agent is set up. Now we'll provide you with some more guidance. Let's choose a name for your agent, business analysis expert, and let's say, sure, that's fine. And you can make this whatever name you want, but we'll stick with that. So it's going to think about that for a minute. Okay, now let's refine the instructions. What specific tasks or functions should it perform? For example, should it answer questions about uh, business analysis tools? I'm going to say I want it to help navigate the website. Okay, so it's going to do that. And it's going to say, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, now it's to say what URL do you want to put in? So we'll put in the URL. So it's going to be www.iiba.org. Okay. So now we've got thinking. So this will be used as a knowledge source. And this is the key thing here. So now that's going to be a knowledge source for this. Do you have any other modifications? And know that you can have other websites as well. I'm just going to do one today, but you can have multiple of these if you want. So you can put a list in here if you want to. Let's see. Do you have any other modifications? I'm going to say no. And now behind the scenes, it's building that agent for me. Okay, your agent's set up. You can now try it out in a separate chat dialogue. If you have further changes, let me know. So what we can do here is we'll say, let's look at the configuration that it built. So like before I was telling you, the stuff that Microsoft gives you, for the pre-built one, this is going to give you instructions based on my conversation about how to build the agent. So it's going to serve as a knowledgeable resource for all topics related to business analysis, including methodologies and so on and so forth. It's going to provide clear, concise guidance on people seeking information, respond to user queries, avoid speculation, maintain helpful tone, refrain in generating jokes, stay within the boundaries of business analysis, and do not go outside this domain. So, yeah, those instructions sound pretty good. So we're going to say, oh, let me show you this as well. Hang on. So knowledge, it should have my URL down here. It doesn't have it, so I'm going to put it in. .iba.org. There we go. Websites, IIBA.org. For some reason, it didn't pull that out of the conversation, but sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, I guess. Normally, I would think it would have done that. And I think we're good. It also gives you some example prompts that show up over here. Like if you wanted to, I could key in anything I want here, and we could get some different examples, but we're going to take what it has. So we're going to go ahead
So,
and create this. Yeah, go
question.
ahead. Yes,
So on
Dan.
the website, if you
Yeah.
scroll back up just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
there's a toggle for prioritize the knowledge sources you
Oh,
added.
yeah. Oops, I should
Should
have that.
we learn more about them?
Yeah, hang on. That should be turned on. Yep, I should turn that on. I'm sorry about that. Yep. That should be, oh, maybe if it's going to stay turned on. I was thinking I have to turn that on. This might be the danger of a live demo. Prioritize the knowledge you added as an agent. Yeah, it should do that.
I wonder if you create it and then go back and tweak it. Maybe it's got a
Let me
little
see. Yep,
bug.
we'll go ahead and create it. It should use that as our priority. We'll find out. We can also test it. So it went ahead and created it.
Yeah, can you ask it what is the BA core competency model?
Yes, let's see
That'd
here.
be a good test.
Oh, you know what? I didn't give this thing a name. I should have gave it a name. It's not picking up the name either. Okay, let's do this. What is the BACCM, right? We'll just leave it at that. Let's see where it goes to get the answer. So it found the answer. Now the question is, where did it get it from, though? And we can ask it to tell us. So did it give a reference? Sometimes they do, sometimes it doesn't. Let me say, where did this answer come from?
And this is a good way to make sure that your AI is not hallucinating on you or just make up an answer, that it's able to cite its source.
Yeah, so it's pulling it from the IIB web. All of these are the IIBA website. So it is doing that. I think it's that switch might be a little fiddly, but I think it's working. Um, so that's what it does. So it's going to pull it from that site first. So hopefully that you can think of some things that you could do with that.
So, Ben, you got a question in the chat.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
shoot. If you don't mind reading it off to me, Aaron,
can you use Copilot, write a detailed prompt or a series of prompts in a conversation, then ask Copilot to create the agent
from what
you
you did.
content?
I don't know of a way to do that. Um, I don't think you can, but I would, I'm, hey, I'm a BA like all of you. I'm just a user. So there may be some way to do that. But I don't know what it is. That's a good question though, because if you did go through a long conversation, you built that context, it'd be nice to just save it as an agent. You could maybe start another session and copy paste it, like uh, do that. See how I build that custom agent? And then have two conversations uh with your GPT going, one where you're creating an agent and another one where you're in your old conversation. You might be able to cut bits and pieces out of it and then your make your agent. So it wouldn't just do it with pushing one button that I know of, but you could maybe copy stuff out by doing two sessions. I would try to do that probably.
And Andrew makes a point that as long as it doesn't hallucinate the source, when we're talking about, have it cite its source and that,
True. Yeah, yeah. I haven't had too much trouble with that.
yeah,
I'm not. It's usually pretty good about the sort not coming up with a hallucination from a source. I've not seen it do that, but I'm not saying it
yeah,
would never
me
happen.
neither. And, it gave you those three icons there. You can go directly to those
Right, you
sources
just click those and you'll
and
see.
verify that they actually do exist
Yeah,
and that the information is there.
yeah, that's what I would do if I was doing this for real, for business, especially something I was going to report out on. I would be going. I would check all this out and make sure this is legit, and make sure it backs up what it's saying up here. Good questions, though. Any other questions? Okay. That's a key one. Being able to, and what that's called in a way is grounding. You're grounding your conversation in something. In this case, it's our IIBA website. So makes it a little bit more useful because it's not just going out to the whole World Wide Web. It's going to our stuff first and then going to the World Wide Web. And that helps ground your conversations around, in this case, the IIBA website. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay, so let me show you another one. This is a quiz tutor. So if anybody's studying for the BABOK, I can show you how you can make an agent that can tutor you and help you do quizzes. So just like the agent we created, let's go back to create an agent. And one of the things that Microsoft gives you is it gives you, this is a kind of a nice little template too. It's a quiz tutor template. So we can use this quiz tutor template and we can use it just as is. So what it does is this thing's geared around, hey, stick a document in here and I'll build a quiz for you around it. So we'll say, yeah, we want to create this thing. So quiz tutor is called. So we'll create it. Well, let me just show you the configuration first. This quiz tutor, here's what it does. Here's all the rules around what it's going to do, all of its context. So if you can imagine, you could key all this context in, mix question types, have multiple choice, true, false, blah, 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 show the references, show it this way, that way. So you could build all this and make your own quiz tutor, or you could just use the one that Microsoft built and plug our data file into it. So we're going to say, okay on that. So let's create it. And then let's go to the agent. And what we'll do is we're going to add the document that we wanted to quiz from. So add content. And we want the BABOK guide. Of course, you have to be an IIBA member to have access to the BABOK guide. I am a member, so I have access. So I'm going to put that guide in there, and I'm going to go, here we go. Plugging that into the tutor. Hopefully this will go fairly quick. If not, I'll bail out. It takes a minute. It's already asking me questions. So true or false? The BABOK guide defines business analysis as the practice of enabling change in an enterprise by defining the needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. True or false? What do you think? A, B?
True.
True? I don't know. That sounds wrong to me.
Oh, does it?
uh, let's see here. This definition is foundation. What did it say? It should have told me I'm wrong. The answer is true. Nice try. The answer is true. And then it tells you why, and it tells you where. So, and then it goes to the next question.
I
Has multiple
told you,
choice.
Ben, you should have listened to me.
Yeah, I should have. See, I'm gonna have to go back and get recertified on my CBAP. I don't even know the basic definition of business analysis.
Hey,
Uh,
Van,
yeah,
question for you. So
shoot.
you put in a document that you have access to because you're a member, and you then put it out there. Are you then able to share this quiz
No.
template to
One,
someone?
I can't. Now, here's the thing. And this is a good question too, and I want to point this out. So this one where I've uploaded a document into the conversation, when I share this or when I use this tutor again, or I should say tutor, this quiz tutor. When I use this quiz tutor again, I'm gonna have to upload that again. It doesn't hold it in the configuration for the uh, agent. You have to re-upload that thing every time you're going to use it. I
Okay.
I don't know the reasons why, and I don't know if maybe some other agents for other, like Google, maybe it lets you do that. Microsoft does not. That's one of the specifically things
Well,
that they
to
call
me,
out
that's
as
good, especially if it's some proprietary something that I have for my office, and I
right.
don't want to necessarily have everyone doing everything with it, but whatever. Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that might be why they did it. It's like, it's a security nightmare. So that's why we're not going to allow it. Like technically we can make it happen, but security
Right,
wise, no.
right.
It's too
Legally
insecure.
and security, yes. Should
Yeah.
other people have
So
access? Yeah. Okay,
yeah. So that's another thing you can do. With pretty neat. And you can do this with any document. So I'm just using the Babok, for example, but you could do it with whatever. Your kids could do it with whatever. They probably do already, and you might not even know. Uh, but so the that is the tutor. I kind of, or I should say, the tutor, the quiz agent, and it's already pre-built, so it's kind of cool that you can use it. Um, what I want to do too is maybe I'd like to show you a couple other examples of agents that I've made that I've used in my work just that help me out a little bit. Um, and they're not necessarily ones that you would use, but it just kind of fit my situation. And so I was thinking you guys might want to hear a little bit about those. But before I do that, any other questions on what we've covered so far? All right. I'll show you a couple of other things that I've got that I've done just as food for thought for you. So I made a couple of other agents to kind of help me with my work, and one of them is a sentiment analysis agent. So I'm working on a project that has to do with call centers, and it has to do with sentiment on calls and sentiment of people that are speaking on calls. In this particular case, we're doing just voice, and we are transforming it to text, and then we're doing sentiment analysis on the text. And one of the things that I was trying to do is uh, some of the text. Well, let me show you what this guy does, what this sentiment analysis does. So um, let me edit it. All agents, sentiment analysis, and I'll edit it. I'm going to show you how I set it up. So what it does is I wanted to have something we were having, like when we do our sentiment analysis on our testing, we're having it, we use Microsoft Azure for our sentiment analysis stuff. And it's coming back with answers like, what sentiment analysis is supposed to do is go, hey, this is, unhappy, neutral, happy. Uh, what kind of sentiment is the person having? And what I did was I built this sentiment analysis that will uh, uh, you can put phrases in, and it'll try and tell you how Microsoft Azure, in this case, is performing the sentiment analysis. So I made it specific. Hey, what would Microsoft Azure do with this? Can it help tell me why it got the sentiment analysis that it did? And I'm not sure that it works perfect, but it gave me some real good insight into how Microsoft Azure comes up with sentiment analysis that it does. So let me put one in. So let me go to this guy and we'll open him. Scribe. I guess I got to hit update. Okay. Thinking. Let me go to the agent. Okay. Now I'm going to say why. What we were having trouble with is when people answer the phone, they're like, "Hi, welcome to. Uh, thank you for calling so and so. How can I help you?" It would say, "Hey, that's got really great good sentence because it had the word help, it had hello." So I'm going to say, "Please let me know." My spelling's terrible. Please let me know uh, how you define how you derive the sentiment for this phrase. How can I help you? And it's going to go through and say, okay, let's break down how the sentiment is derived for the phrase. Hi, welcome to Bank Ohio, fictional, by the way. How can I help you? And it's going to go through and say, okay, why did it come up with what it did? Here's how it tokenized it. Here's how it did the lexical analysis, or should have. Here's how it came up with its scoring, and here's why it came up with positive. And so what we were kind of running into with our group is people were going, well, that's just how they answer the phone every day. That shouldn't be positive. I mean, it should be neutral. And this is why it's positive. So, it just kind of opened the door for me to help to start to understand, hey, how is Microsoft Azure figuring out sentiment on phrases? And maybe then I can understand why it's coming up with the answers that it comes up with. So this is getting a little deeper, but if you can think of, hey, this might be something you could use on other things as well. So any thoughts, questions, ideas about that? If not, I'm going to share one more thing with you, and this has to do with transformation. So one of the really powerful things that GPT can do is it can transform input from one form to another. And one of the things uh, that I work with quite a bit is XML. So if you want, you can use Copilot or really any of these GPTs to convert, say, PDF to XML or whatever. You could convert, you can build code, you can do all kinds of things. I mean, we don't necessarily write code very much as BAs, but you might write some XML. So let me show you how I made a PDF to CF XML converter. And I kind of gave it instructions. Hey, here's what it needs to do. Here's what I want to be able to put a file into here and give me the XML back out. So with just a little bit of work here, I can add a generic invoice. I should show you what this looks like. I don't know if I can open it here or not. So let me see if I can open that thing. Yeah, I can. So the invoice looks like this. And let me see. Yeah. And let me get out of it. Now, so it looks like that. So very generic invoice. We're going to take this invoice and we are going to say, build a PDF out of this. Actually build an XML. Now it's going to follow my instructions and context from building the agent, and it's going to build this XML. So, this would be, this is going to build an XML that shows everything that's on that invoice. So you could view this with HTML, you could do it with whatever. So fairly powerful, pretty neat tool that you can do something like that with it. Now, those are the things that I wanted to share with you all today. Does anybody have any questions, ideas, thoughts about that stuff? Especially questions, and hopefully it provokes some thought about how you might use this in your job. So questions, thoughts, ideas. If not, I'll turn it back over to Aaron. I think that this is the last of our series on this topic. So have him bring it home.
I assume you can add the XML namespace to that converter.
Yeah, you could. You could make it, you could tweak it. Like in my instructions, I could go back to the instructions and, say, hey, make sure it has an XML namespace. You can then take this and you can download it. You can do whatever. So I could take this, and download it into a PDF, change the structure. Oh, change the structure for SIP. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but it would. Yeah, so that's what you can do, and you can tweak it to match your own environment and what you want to do. Any other questions? All right, I'll turn it back over to you then, Aaron.
All right. So
Shawnee.
thank you very much, Van, that facilitated a few of these sessions and that. But you were getting a lot of thank yous and great information out there in the chat. So
Cool.
people have enjoyed, getting that information and everything. So as Van said, this is the final session of our six-part series on generative AI and how you could put that into your daily work as a BA. So we hope you found all this information useful and everything. If you missed a session or that, they are all the videos are public on our YouTube channel. I believe IIBA Bluegrass. We have Amplifying Your BA Impact with AI. playlist out there. If you're an IIBA member, these are also available on our chapter webinars page in the members only section. So you could get to it in either place in that. So I see many of you have attended multiple sessions of this series and that. Appreciate you all being here, whether you attended one or all six or something in between. We hope you found it very useful, and will, if you haven't already, start just experimenting, start playing with AI and see how you can use it to help do your work. It's just a tool. It may be much more advanced tool than the other things we use, like Visio or Microsoft Word or something. Even the BA requirements management tools and things like that. This is just another tool. And but what Van showed us today, and that is how you can expand it beyond being just a tool, and it actually help coach you into being a better BA. And that so you probably could make a career coach out of AI, I'm sure. So we hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or that, you can reach me at professional@bluegrass.iiba.org and ask any questions or suggestions for future events or anything. If you want to suggest a topic that we explore and everything, we can explore that together. So you have a wonderful rest of your week and everything. If you have any comments or that, again, professional@bluegrass.iiba.org. And we will see you at a future event.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
As I'm trying to type in my email address so you all have it. So thank you for being here. Have a great day and great rest of your week. Thanks, Van.
Sure.